Savage Dragon 129 from October of 2006. Got our gorgeous cover girl, Mother Mayhem, with her triplets and dragon in tow. There was a watercolor cover to complete a trilogy of painted covers, as you can see here, but Larson ended up scrapping it. Was this like a subtle homage to the Incredible Hulk TV show? You know, at the end of every episode, Banner, the lonely man walking down the road while the sad piano song plays over the credits? Perhaps. But I think I prefer the Mother Mayhem cover here, especially the earth in the background. It's got kind of a simple charm to it, these flat colors and minimal rendering, but it works, especially against the star-filled backdrop there, so I dig it. And let's dig in to issue 129, Untitled Story. All credit to Erik Larsen, writer, artist, colorist, and letterer, and Josh Eckhorn, who don't know much about a science book. A reference to a song by Sam Cooke, Wonderful World, a 60s classic. So let's read this recap and figure out what the hell's going on. Previously, Dragon destroyed the all-powerful God Gun, and all the wishes made with it have been undone. Solar Man has been resurrected, Tiger has met her maker, and Mr. Glum no longer commands every human being on the planet. Mr. Glum fled to Dimension X, taking Dragon's stepdaughter Angel along for the ride. Meanwhile, Dragon's stepdaughter Angel from the Earth he left behind was rescued by She-Dragon and has replaced her. Oh, and Universo was freed and is in the process of devouring the planet. All right, you got all that? Great. We start behind the scenes at a TV network. They've been broadcasting Glum's message for over a year, but now that Glum has lost his power, they're coming out of their stupor, and they cut the feed. And this must be Nurse Ann Stevens' TV, because when it's reported that the threat is over, we see that tap of the wrist, which is how she transforms into Mighty Man there. Off to help save the day, but she left her TV on, which is how we see this interview with Dragon, who fills everyone in on the situation, some necessary exposition for the readers and the characters of this world. They want answers, and I gotta say I'm impressed with the news organizations in this comic. They don't waste any time getting back to the important work of serious journalism, truly committed to the cause. Meanwhile, Super Patriot, he gives a rah-rah speech to a small group of heroes getting ready to face Universo. Goddamn, look at this dude. Picking up where he left off, draining the planet of energy in this double-page splash. He's not as gigantic as he was previously, for now. Then there's Solar Man here, also picking up where he left off. Sergeant Marvel can't stop him from putting an end to crime and corruption once and for all. But first he says he's going to rebuild the world. I guess Glum has done some real physical damage, and now Solar Man is going to fix that. Back to the battle with Universo and Mother Mayhem. So it's not going too well for the heroes, but then Mighty Man shows up to join the fight. Maybe he can swing the odds in their favor. She-Dragon wisely decides to sit this one out. She's not powerful enough to take on these cosmic entities, but she's going to have her hands full with this random gigantic tube worm that pops up from the underground. Then this bright yellow page shows Solar Man moving mountains and getting the planet looking like itself. And some more coverage of the news networks trying to figure out what's going on. They've got a big story cooking, but it's a moot point if Universo eats the planet, so got some all-out action in these pages. Dragon versus Mother Mayhem, She-Dragon versus the Tapeworm, Mighty Man versus Universo, jumping between all three of these battles, and the network here. I'm really impressed with the lettering in these pages, especially the sound effects like this hot pink Braca Bethune. Looks like something you'd see in maybe like a Russ Wooten, Daniel Warren Johnson comic. And here was Larson doing that 2 decades ago. Got some more action. Mighty Man getting his energy drained by Universo, creating a dilemma. Change back into human form and die, or else everyone else dies. So at this moment, Dragon and Mother Mayhem, they've been battling high in the sky, and now they're rocketing back to the surface, crashing right into Universo's face, right as Mighty Man turns back into Ann Stevens, and then Dragon catches her, but then they immediately get squished by Universo's fist. Then the other heroes, they get blasted as well, And that's where we're going to leave it, because now it's back to the network, where they're about to break the biggest scoop they have, which is an old Christmas card and a mysterious source revealing that Mr. Glum was a member of Savage Dragon's family. Now, we, the reader, already knew all this, but the world, these characters aren't going to be happy to find out that this brutal dictator was living in Dragon's home. And then in the last panel, it's reported that the U.S. Air Force is about to launch a nuclear strike on Universo. So to be continued. Got a cliffhanger here. Multiple characters possibly killed, and a public shitstorm awaits if they do survive. So on to Defenseless, a backup story about home invasion featuring Dragon's wife, Jennifer. So this takes place after issue 118. Jennifer has lost her superpowers, and she's bummed out, so she's venting to Vanguard about all of her problems, and she hears a noise. She goes to check that out, brings the power gloves with her, and she's going to need them. We got a new and improved Brainy Ape smashing through their home security defenses, and he wants to rip Dragon apart with his new robot body. But he's got bad timing. Dragon's not there. Unfortunately, Jennifer is. And despite her best efforts, she is no match for the cyborg gorilla. But she's saved just in time by Vanguard, who teleports into the house there. Pretty entertaining yarn. I looked up the creative team. You got artist Joe Largent and writer Jim DeMonicos. And I saw that Jim recently directed a documentary on Hellboy creator Mike Mignola called Drawing Monsters. And that's available free on YouTube. I'll put a link in the description if you want to check that out. Next is Comic Bits by Chris Giarrusso and Jacob Chabot. This is the mighty Skullboy army. Got some big changes going on here. Finally wrapping up that multi-dimensional crisis by destroying every other version of Earth. That's cool. We haven't had this kind of supplemental material in a while. Some image announcements of new titles like Impaler, Pirates of Coney Island, Zombie, and The Bomb Queen. I'm only familiar with that last one because she makes an appearance in an upcoming issue of Savage Dragon, but I don't think many of these books had much of an impact there. Let's see what else is coming out in the October hit list here. We got Ant number 10, City of Heroes number 16. We got Godland number 13 by Tom Scioli. That's also soon to appear in Savage Dragon. There's Invincible 37, Spawn 161, Walking Dead 33. All right. Then there's Grand Larceny, an editorial by Eric Larson, a thoughtful reflection of the founding of Image Comics 15 years ago. Larson says, when I was a kid, I was really into Marvel Comics. I wasn't there for the old days when Stan Lee and Jack Kirby were creating the universe. I came along years later, and it felt to me that they had been around forever. I was born many years after the Marvel mainstays had been created, and by the time I was old enough to read, things were well on their way. And what's weird is that Image Comics has been around longer than Marvel Comics at that point. There are now readers for whom Image has always been there. We're as much of a fixture for them as Marvel was to me. And then it goes on from there. Pretty good stuff, but I kind of want to extrapolate his point into modern day. So now Image Comics has been around for 34 years. And if we compare that to Marvel, at that point, it's 1996, the year they went bankrupt and hired Jim Lee and Rob Liefeld to do Heroes Reborn. So I would say Image Comics is doing pretty well in comparison there. Last is Fanatics, a couple of pages of reaction to issue 124. Some pretty good stuff in here in relation to that issue, but I've already covered most of that and the process of creating it. So that's going to do it for today. Got a Comedy Central mobile ad, and next is issue 130. Adios.